Welcome back to Never Did It. I'm Brad Garoon. I'm here with Jake Ziegler. On Never Did It, we look back at the last 100 years of movie history in an effort to fill in some of our own movie blind spots. And boy, were these blind spots. We're looking at the year 1927, which was a complete blind spot for me. I'd never seen a movie from 1927. You had seen one, and you loved it.
Two.
Oh, you'd seen two. Well,
Wings is from 1927 also. So I think those are the two choices I had.
they sing Lord Take Me Down to the Streets. Am I right?
Yes, it's one of their hits from the 70s.
Great.
Yeah.
But you gave me the movie Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans, which I didn't know ahead of time, but you have to search the whole title to find it because there are a lot of movies called Sunrise.
Yes, there are.
And this was directed by F.W. Murnau, who became world famous for directing Nosferatu. And this is the third time we've covered him on this podcast because we also covered the movie Faust. And I did not love Nosferatu or even like it. And I loved Faust. And I'm curious why you recommended Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans.
Well, because again, I had, of the two choices that I had, I actually thought this would be the one that you liked more, even though I do think Wings is actually pretty good and holds up pretty well. But what's interesting about the two of them is that they were both kind of Best Picture winners at the first Oscars. I mean, Wings has been regarded as like the one Best Picture winner because it was the Outstanding Production Award, so that's kind of been the one. But Sunrise also won an award called Best Unique and Artistic Production, and it was the one and only time they ever did this category. So, Sunrise was the only winner in it. And so, it's kind of a historical curiosity, and it's, I think, I remember it being great. I haven't seen it since college. That was probably the last time I saw it. So it's another one, selfishly. I knew I had seen Wings more recently. So it's like, all right, I'd love to go back and watch Sunrise again. And it's highly regarded. It shows up in polls of, greatest films of all time, greatest silent film of all time. Choosing between that and Wings, I thought that Sunrise had more intangibles going for it.
Tell us what it's about.
I had forgotten quite a bit of it. A young couple who, gosh, are they married or they're just engaged?
No, they're married and they have a child.
The guy meets a new lady who he is much more enamored with, and he very, very quickly agrees to murder his wife to get her out of the way so that he can remarry this new woman. Spoiler alert for a 100-year-old movie, he does not end up going through with that. He ends up reconciling with his wife, and then the movie kind of follows them from there. So it's very odd. It's a very odd premise, but I think there's a lot of really interesting things in the movie beyond that. What did you think of it, and what did you know about it before, if anything?
Nothing. I saw the tagline, and the tagline was, "A woman from the city convinces a man on a farm to kill his wife." And that is not what the movie's about. That does happen. I mean, like you said, he doesn't kill her, but in the first 15 minutes of the movie, like you said, it all happens so fast. Most of it happens in the scroll before the movie, which all silent movies have, because there's no exposition in silent movies. There can't be. Very little dialogue, written on the screen. In just about every silent movie, they have to explain to you what's going on. So it's like a woman, all these people have come to vacation in the farmland. Meanwhile, we have no idea where any of this takes place.
Yeah.
And a woman from the city has lingered. She's lingered. So that the narrator doesn't like her. The filmmakers don't like her. So she convinces this guy. I guess she's sexy by 1920 standards. I think the wife is way cuter.
Cultural at the time, yeah, standard.
It was the style at the time.
It was the style at the time.
So she convinces him, yeah, and then he takes her out on a boat. He takes his wife out on a boat with this big plan to kill her. And then I guess the plan beyond that will be they'll sell the farm and then go live in the city, him and this city lady. And instead, she pleads for her life briefly. He decides not to kill her. And then they end up on a riverbank, the side of the lake, where there just happens to be a trolley to the city that the wife gets on. He follows her, and she pretty quickly forgives him for trying to murder her. And they have what is essentially the final 30 minutes from Make Way for Tomorrow.
That's exactly what I thought of too, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Make Way for Tomorrow with young people. Yeah.
And it's very sweet. They go from place to place doing cute things, and I enjoyed watching them rekindle their romance, although in the back of my head, all I kept thinking was, he was going to kill you, and you just forgave him like it was nothing.
Like earlier in the day, too. It's not like they've had time to process this,
It's the whole movie takes place in 24 hours. And then there's a cool bookend. If you're watching the studio, you know how much Seth Rogen loves a bookend, where they're coming back from their trip on the boat, and there's a freak storm, like a hurricane that comes out of absolutely nowhere. I guess they didn't have the National Weather Service back then. And they capsize, and she drowns, or so he thinks. Well, she does drown, but she's saved, and he almost kills the woman who had sent him to kill her. Anyway, what did I think? I gave it, so I wound up giving it 3 stars. It's interesting. I watched this right after I saw Alex Garland's Warfare. And as I was watching Warfare, I thought, I am not emotionally connected to this movie so much, but holy crap, is he doing a lot with the language of film. And I felt the exact same way about Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans. You have to say the whole thing every time. Murnau, it's a lot trippier than I think what we've described. The farmer character, when he's going through he's going through like a psychological break, basically, when he's about to kill his wife. You see an overlay of the city lady over him, as if, she's the one influencing his thoughts, because she is. And there's a lot of cool sets, like they go to a carnival, and they don't make movies like this anymore with sets like this, because one, it's probably really dangerous. Some of the rides that were just like flying overhead, I was like, that's really close to their faces. And I thought that was all very cool, especially when you're watching a nearly 100-year-old movie. But I was pretty bored. I'm like, there's not much going on here, and I can't get over the fact that she forgave him because he gave her flowers.
Yeah.
Will you explain to me, tell me what you like about it, and why is it considered one of the greatest silent films?
What I like about it, and I think these are some of the reasons, and it's even some of the things that you said. I bumped my rating down. I had it rated at 5, before, just from my memory of it. I bumped it down, but I only bumped it down to 4.5 because I still really love this movie. You have to get past the killing part. Like you just do. Like if you're gonna go with this movie at all, you just kind of have to get past that part. Like it's ridiculous. But
I like that you're telling me to get past it. It is the log line of the movie. Like that is the entire plot description. Is that when you read the back of the box for this movie, it doesn't say, and then they go on a soul rekindling day, because that would spoil the main plot point of the movie.
Right.
So all you get going in is this guy's going to try to kill his wife. So you're telling me to get past the thing that is selling the movie.
Well, I mean, okay, it's 100 years old. It's not like it's being advertised to you now. I mean, give it a break,
Okay, fine.
So once you get past that part of the movie, I think there's a lot to love about the movie. Like, okay, their relationship, it is really cute, and they do all these cute things. Like I said, it's a very make way for tomorrow, kind of thing, and you can see that they make me feel the connection between them. And just some of the things that you said, too, where you were appreciative of it, the set designs, like the visual effects of the storm and everything. Again, this movie is 100 years old, and it's just really impressive what they do with it. And I just kind of fell in, to all of those things. I love the way it looks. I mean, the cinematography is gorgeous. I think it's recognized as like one of the great, silent film cinematography, if not, even film, all film. So yeah, I kind of fell into that. I fell into their romance and their rekindling after he tried to murder soap opera, he kind of dumb it down maybe to that level, and he's like, all right, I can live with this.
Well, I think this gets at, and I think we'll talk about this more next week too when we talk about Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that a recurring theme in things that you like in film that I don't, and one of them is pure earnestness. I don't believe that that's real, and it keeps showing up in these movies, and you like it, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene where, and it's not so much what they do, it's how people react to it. There's a scene where they're getting their photo taken, and I like the scene a lot. And the farmer's trying to act all tough because you have to stand still for a long time with these old timey photos. So he's not smiling because it's hard to hold a smile for that long. And the photographer he pretends he's not paying attention. He catches them kissing, and then he takes the photo of them, and that's very sweet. And then in their excitement, while he goes to develop the photo, they break a statue of his. And it looks very expensive, and they put a little toy head on the statue head. It's all very cute. But what bothers me is that the photographer then is happy that they've done this because, oh, shucks, it's so cute. Nothing can tear this couple apart. And I get why it happens, because like they're building us up. They're McBaining us, basically. I'm ready for retirement. I bought my boat. It's called Live Forever. And then the guy dies. And that's what they're setting us up for. Like, oh, they've rekindled this relationship. What an amazing romance this is. And then she's going to fall into the water.
Yeah.
So I get that was for dramatic effect and to hook you. But again, it's 100 years later. So it's really hard for me not to be cynical.
Yeah. And I love that earnestness of like, especially like early movies like this, because that's just, I don't know. I picture people of the day like really falling for it. And that just, I don't know, that does something for me. I can't really explain it. And like I said, it's not real. I mean, like, that kind of earnestness is generally not real. But that's why I like it in the movies. Like I watch pro wrestling, and none of that is real either. But it just make me believe for 2 hours. And
okay,
I'll go with you.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because one of the things that I really dislike about modern wrestling, which really started, I would say modern pro wrestling started in the pandemic, like wrestling as it is now. It really shifted when there were no crowds. So to compensate for that, they started cinematizing wrestling itself at first in like things that were recorded backstage. And that's cool. That was like an interesting way to get through the pandemic. But then also in the ring with like too much talking. between the wrestlers during the matches. This is a major problem in Roman Reigns matches, especially like the
Mm.
bloodline. I know we're losing people who don't watch wrestling, but they just started turning it into a soap opera in the ring. And everyone compares wrestling to a soap opera, but it was wrestling is like a soap opera, not wrestling is soap opera.
Yeah.
So, but modern wrestling, post 2020 wrestling, you get a lot of, especially in WWE, in the main event, talking in the ring. And I think that just grinds everything to a halt.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I love wrestling, but I want things to be a certain way. It doesn't mean there's only one way.
Yeah.
But it does mean that there are ways I actively don't like, and this had some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Not talking. There's no talking in the movie.
There is no talking in the movie. There's more talking in a Roman Reigns match than there is in this movie.
So did this movie, I mean, it's German. No, this was his first Hollywood movie.
Yep.
Murnau comes to America, lucky him, before the Nazis take over Germany. He was a what do they call, early adopter, smart guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he made this movie that was so acclaimed. Did Hollywood recognize it? Was it up for stuff at the Oscars?
Big Oscars, yeah. I mean, at first, it won that Best Unique and Artistic Production.
Oh, right. You said that.
Yeah, and then Janet Gaynor also won Best Actress, but at that time it was awarded for multiple movies. She had also starred in a movie called Seventh Heaven and Street Angel, and she was recognized as the winner for all three of the films, and then also won the award for cinematography and was nominated for art direction. And I think there was only like 12 awards maybe at the first Oscars. It was a smaller kind of ceremony, so I mean, to be nominated for 4 and win 3 of them is, they really recognized it right away.
And of course, no telecast.
Right.
All right, well, let's move into the movie that I recommended for you. Wow.
Yeah.
So I had not seen this, but it sounded interesting, mostly because we had watched, I mean, I didn't know this when I recommended it. I recommended this back as we were conceiving of the show, but I wanted to see Lon Chaney not as the Phantom of the Opera. So I recommended The Unknown, which is a Tod Browning film. And what I really like about this is you have the director of Dracula against the director of Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah, dude, put that together, yeah. Tod Browning also did that movie Freaks. Do you know that movie?
I do know what it is. I've never seen it, so clearly he's obsessed with the circus.
Yes, yeah. I saw that one a long time ago. Like, it had a DVD re-release and probably I think when we were in high school probably. So, but I saw it a long time ago. But then once I realized, oh yeah, that's the same guy, like it made sense.
Totally. So this is a movie starring Lon Chaney as Alonzo the Armless. I think the movie was originally billed as Alonzo the Armless and then changed to The Unknown, because it's essentially a monster movie. Alonzo is a criminal, I think a bank robber, who is hiding in a circus by strapping his arms to his body and putting a corset over it with the help of his little person friend, Kojo. So everyone thinks he doesn't have arms, and he smokes and eats and throws knives with his feet, which looks very real. Honestly, like it looks very, it's not real. Lon Chaney didn't know how to do that. There's an actual circus performer acting as the feet. The trick works. I think it looks really great. Anyway, he's hiding out in the circus, and he's in love with Joan Crawford, who plays Nanon, a gypsy girl. I think today you'd call her a Romani girl. She's the daughter of the circus owner, and he loves her, and it seems like he might get her because she's afraid of hands. She's literally, and she says it over and over again, she is afraid of men's hands. She doesn't like when they touch. She doesn't like the hands. It's so funny how often she talks about men's hands and how much she hates when they put their hands on her. And can't a man be different? Anyway, this is what it's about. It's a love triangle. Both Alonzo the Armless, who's not really armless, and the strong man are in love with Nanon. Someone's going to get her and someone's not. And it is essentially a monster movie because Alonzo's a bad dude who will go to great lengths to get what he wants. This is hilarious. And then I came to find out that it's really highly regarded, which blew my mind. I thought this was like a B movie.
Yeah.
It's not. People were like, wow, what great special effects, what great tension was built up. It's a 64-minute movie. It was lost for a long time. So I think some of it is people were really excited that they got to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did you think of The Unknown?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun but you kind of take it in a B movie sort of way, which I think, again, 100 years later, we're welcome to do that. We don't have to conform to the style at the time. So I think like if you watch it in like a B movie sense, it's super fun. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's this guy pretending not to have arms, just so while he's hiding out from bank robbery. I mean, that's like classic 20s and 30s movies. Like you've got a bunch of mishmashes of them together. You've got the circus and the bank robber and the lovely lady and the love triangle and all these like just bananas things, and it goes by flies so fast too. I mean, there's like no wasted time in this movie. You know, like I said, 65 minutes in and out. And to see Lon Chaney likes to do something that's not Phantom of the Opera or, you know, something like that. Like I said, it's kind of a monster movie, but it's different for him, you know, based on the few things of his I've seen. And just seeing Joan Crawford, a young Joan Crawford in a silent film was kind of mind-blowing. Took me a second to get used to, but yeah, it's super fun. Like, it's a weirdo circus movie that just is not like anything else. Like, even like we've done, this is our third, right? Our third circus, because we did Nosferatu and
Nosferatu.
What am I forgetting?
Nightmare Alley.
Yes, Nightmare Alley. Even this one has a lot of differences from those movies, but I love that we managed to find three weirdo circus movies, you know, all pre 1950. Well, Strata was like 54, so yeah, I mean, all these old weird circus movies, and like I said, I feel like in our second season there's going to be some more circus movie action to come.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick because I agree. But if you give me The Greatest Showman, what do I even give you? You've seen Big Top Pee-wee, haven't you?
I have seen it, yeah.
What would I even give you? Have you seen Freaked?
Freaked?
Yeah, with Alex Winter from Bill and Ted.
You know, I don't think I ever did, or if I did, it was like when I was a kid.
Oh, there we go. We've got an episode all set up. Both movies are a lot of fun. Oh, I don't know.
We don't even know about. There might be other circus movies that we're not even aware of.
For sure, definitely. There almost certainly are. It's funny you mentioned Joan Crawford and being kind of blown away. She did a lot of silent movies. You know, her career started as a silent film star when she was 18, and then actually, I think she's 18 in this.
Yeah, when was she born? Let's see.
Or maybe she's 20, but either way, she's unrecognizable. She looks so young, and she's in like the silent movie era makeup. But she did a lot of silent films as a star, and that's how she got her start. Yeah, she's very good. But Lon Chaney he has one scene where he realizes that the thing he's going for, he's never going to get. And he's already done something very extreme to try to get it. It's really tragic. And his reaction is wild. Burt Lancaster once said that Lon Chaney in that scene is doing things that he didn't think he was capable of because he would be emotionally exhausted if he tried to do something like that. Because it starts with Chaney laughing maniacally and then completely breaking down. Anyway, we're checking out. We've somehow not spoiled anything in this movie. Yeah. Oh, there's also the bit where but I do want to just reiterate. This is a movie about a woman who's scared of hands, a man who's pretending not to have arms, who in real life has two thumbs on one hand. That's important. A circus in general and how it operates. Murder, self-mutilation. And there's also just like a little person who is the arbiter of what is actually the smart thing to do in any given situation. Yeah, just really weird stuff. Another one that I gave 3 stars to because I didn't like get much from it, but it's just insane that it exists.
Oh, I gave it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. Like you said, in a very B movie sort of set, not Jerry Seinfeld B movie, like a B dash movie. I really enjoyed it. I put 4 on it. Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Well, that is your prerogative. Where do these 2 movies land in your rankings of movies of the 1920s?
I have 15 movies total on my list. I have The Unknown at number 12, just in front of Thief of Baghdad and behind Buster Keaton's The General. And I have Sunrise at number 7, in front of Metropolis and just behind Sherlock Jr.
Cool. I have The Unknown just behind The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, which is the first ever feature animated film in tinted color. So it does not appear on my new black and white feature animated movies list, which only has 6 movies on it, if you can believe it. There are only 6 black and white, and even on this list of 6, some of them have color in them, just not a lot of it. And just ahead of The Phantom of the Opera. And I have Sunrise just ahead of Phantom of the Opera and just behind The Passion of Joan of Arc. And they are, for reference, Sunrise is my number 8 movie of the 20s, and The Unknown is my number 10 out of 14. Although I think Metropolis is deserving of I say this every time, but I think Metropolis is deserving of a reevaluation by me.
Same. I haven't seen it in a long time. I have it ranked highly because, again, that's how my letterbox worked when I first started doing it. But yeah, I definitely need to rewatch it.
Totally. Maybe we'll add that on our season 2 of Never Did It.
We could do a Never Did It rewatch edition.
We would just call it Did It?
Yeah. Never Did It, Did It.
No Oscar love for The Unknown, right?
No, sir.
Yeah. So that's it for 1927. We'll be back next week with the films of 1939. All right. So before you go, that was another short episode from the 1920s. So I figured I'd take the opportunity with the extra time to talk about a couple animated movies I've seen lately that are really off the radar that I think you really ought to see. So I'll start with a movie that you can actually watch very easily as long as you have a library card. Because with a library card, you have access to Canopy. That's Kanopy. Canopy is an amazing streaming service that gives you free access to streaming movies as long as you have a library card. And they have a crazy amount of animated films because they're furnished one by Kino Lorber. Kino Classics are all on there. Not that there's a lot of animated films through them, but then also by G-Kids. Tons of animated films through that. Movies like Makoto Shinkai movies and other like soft anime like that. And then also they're furnished by Deaf Crocodile, which is an amazing label that if you're a fan of animated movies, you should definitely be paying attention to. They have a lot of Bill Plimpton movies available on Blu-ray. They have a lot of weird international indie animated films on Blu-ray. Old ones, Heroic Times is on there. Bubble Bath. I mean, a lot of these you can also watch on Tubi. But the reason I'm bringing up Canopy, though, is because they also have a film that is not available on any other streaming service, and it's not available on physical media at all. It's called Tropical Virus, but you can find it searching Virus Tropical. And this is an adaptation of a graphic novel memoir by Paula Power, who actually wrote a series of illustrated memoirs. This is the first one. It's about her life, her parents' life before she was born, her birth, and then her early life through her teenage years. And it's really cool. It was directed by Santiago Caicedo. It's a movie out of Colombia, and it's about Power's life in Ecuador and Colombia. And it's amazing. I mean, as good as any other coming-of-age movie I can think of. It's also really, I mentioned this, it's one of like 6 feature black and white animated films that you can see today. If there were more feature animated films in black and white, I mean, I know there were. They're lost. They were from before Snow White, pre-1939 mostly. So you can't really see those. You can't really watch those. This is so cool in that regard. And to make up for what is lost in animation through color, which is such a big part of animated films, it does a ton with design. There's a scene where the conception scene of Paola being conceived, that sex scene happens during a rainy night, and the rain then transforms into sperm racing for a chance to inseminate an egg. It's a very cool transition, worthy of Park Chan-wook. The rest of the movie does a lot like that, not all sperm related. But very cool transitions, amazing depictions of like the magic of everyday life. This is not a movie that utilizes magical realism. It's quite based in reality, and yet still they find ways to infuse just like the general magic of life into the film, which I just think is so cool. So Virus Tropical, very cool movie. Get your library card fired up, go to Canopy, watch the movie. Maybe Deaf Crocodile will distribute it. And then the other movie I wanted to talk about is a movie that you can only get on Blu-ray right now. I'm sure it'll stream somewhere soon. I saw the director and animator Eric Power musing on Instagram whether or not Mubi might pick it up. This movie's called When You Get to the Forest. And this is the third of 4 cutout animation movies that Power has made, feature animation movies that Power has made. He has one coming up, which is also a memoir. Should be very cool. This one is sort of a soft cinema drama, kind of in the mold of My Old Ass or Petite Maman or even The Quiet Girl. And that movie follows his first 2 movies, one of which was called Path of Blood, which is a really loving homage to samurai films. I mean, it has an all-Japanese voice cast, and it's a very good new movie that will remind you of Lone Wolf and Cub or Lady Snowblood. It's violent, and the kills are very similar to the ones in those Japanese exploitation Chanbara movies. And something like the scenery is great. It's cutout animation, like I said, like South Park. I mean, South Park is the most prominent version of cutout animation that I can think of, but cutout animation actually was the medium for the very first animated feature film, The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, which came out in the 1920s. And he followed up that Path of Blood, that samurai movie, with a movie called Attack of the Demons, which is just a straight up homage to monster horror films, The Thing and The Blob. And if you saw, I mean, most people didn't based on its box office, but it's sort of like, R-rated as those movies are. But the new Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, is also a send-up of those kinds of movies. And it's gross and violent, and the dialogue's terrible, but deliberately. Anyway, that is all to say, this movie, his third movie, which just released on Blu-ray just the other day, When You Get to the Forest, is an amazing movie about a woman who's grieving her recently deceased mother, or so I think. I mean, it's never explicitly stated, but that is the vibe you get. And she wanders into the forest to do a hiking trail that she did with her mom and complete it in a way that she was too much of a baby to complete when she was a kid. And she goes off the trail because she doesn't want to litter, and some of her litter gets away from her. And then she falls and hits her head and then winds up completely lost. And she spends a year lost in the forest with her only company being this talking cat. And she uses the cat as a way, her communication with the cat as a way to grieve. And the voice acting, like in his other movies, is pretty amateurish, but the dialogue here is good. And there's not a ton of dialogue. It's much more of a mood piece. And I really loved it. I found it really touching. So this one you can get on Vinegar Syndrome, and I recommend it. I think people should patronize independent animators like this. And if you can, you should. It's a very good movie. And you'll be one of a very few people to own this Blu-ray. And maybe it'll eventually come out on streaming. His other two movies that have already been released, Path of Blood and Attack of the Demons, are both available on Amazon Prime and Tubi and a lot of other streaming places. But you can get those on Blu-ray as well, and I recommend that. This you can only get on Blu-ray. So yeah, that's our little animation corner to supplement our silent film reviews this week.